have some foundation, let's look at a little bit of a basic organizing framework. And the old teacher in me does have to pop out periodically, so we're going to do an ABC here. The first thing you're going to have to do is to align the current reality with the goal, which of course means you need a goal in mind. But here's the thing, whether it's for you or for a child, you need to talk in terms of what well organized look like. And that may also help you, because if we go back to that idea of go clean up your room and they don't know what that looks like, you can say, we're going to work on organizing this space. What would it look like to you if it was organized? Because their idea of organized and yours might be very different. And that might give you a clue as to how to move going forward. And even if you're talking about things like morning routine and evening routine, again, as adults, most of us have grown, not all, because some adults need help forming routines, but most adults sort of have a routine in terms of, you get up, some people brush their teeth first, some people eat breakfast first, some people, we sort of have our routines. And because we have them, we sort of we sort of try to get everybody in the household to sort of follow that same routine. Well, guess what? Double check with the dentist, okay? But whether they brush their teeth before or after breakfast may not be a big battle to be fought, in terms of actual dental health. So if they would prefer to brush after breakfast, and you've been trying to get them to brush before breakfast, if they move it to after breakfast, they might do it without even complaining or forgetting or anything. So that's one of those things where you need to look at what the current reality is and the goal. The goal might be to get out of the house in the morning without screaming, fighting, whatever, and with the backpack and homework and everything, and on time. So if that's the goal, how far from reality are we, so that we know how far we have to go? Because organizing is a process. It is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be little changes. So it might be that, you decide as a family, and I'm big on family meetings, that, in order to have a calmer, quieter morning, we're going to discuss as a family, and then starting in March, for the whole month of March, what we're going to work on is, having the backpacks with homework at them at the door. Okay, we aren't going to worry about the getting up piece. Obviously we still have to get up, but, what we're going to work on forming the new habit of is around the backpack with the homework at the door. That's what our concentration is for March. And we're going to see how it goes in March. Might have to continue in April, but maybe in April, instead we can bring in a new one if we sort of got the backpack down. Then maybe we can move to a new one. So picking up sort of new habits by the month or by the quarter, or whatever might work with you and your family. Well, if you've done some alignment here, then we actually need to bail. So we need to create a plan of action to bail you out of the disarray you're currently in. And it will not happen just by wanting it or thinking it. It actually must be a plan, which means that you must plan time in the schedule to do this. And this, a huge piece, and just that organizing is a process, that's because you're never going to get there, okay? And one reason you're never going to get there is because we still all have stuff coming in. So you got the homework done and turned in today, but guess what? We got more tonight for tomorrow. We now have a new soccer schedule, or it's time to sign up for whatever our next sports season is, and we got to figure out everything around that and how we're going to plan schedules. So we must create a plan, truly a plan of action in order to move forward, because it's not just going to happen. And then after you have checked out the current reality with the goal and created your plan, then you can conquer the clutter. And that, I'm not saying, because I know for some people they're going, oh, forget it, not going to happen, we're talking a plan, not going to happen, don't like planning. And that's okay. That's where it comes, I know we talked a little bit in the very beginning about that idea of wanting to break down projects. So one thing, and I talk more about this in Tackle the No Time Trap, but is one thing you need to differentiate is between projects, tasks, and routines. And this is not on there. A routine is something like, I got to put out the trash every Wednesday morning. Most of us don't need to write that down, we know that. Unless we have children doing it, in which case we may have to write it down on a checklist for that. But as adults, you know, we know that. We know that, you know, rent or mortgage is due the first of the month, and we have our routine around that. So often we don't need to do that. A project is like organize the garage. Now, if you put that on your to-do list for Saturday, not going to happen. Hate to break the news to you, but yet we do that all the time. Okay, organize the garage is a project. Go through bookshelf A in the garage that has all sorts of different things on it and sort like items together and delete those that need to be deleted. That is a task. It's something that you can do in less than a day and has 1 or 2 steps. That's a task. Project, multiple steps, multiple days. So if we're looking at creating the plan or whatever, if you leave tonight and say, we're going to organize the house this weekend, well, yeah, not happening. You know, if you're thinking in terms of, okay, we're going to approach the living room and we're going to check out all of the, I'll say, hidden spaces. So anything behind a cabinet, we're going to go through, because guess what? If it's behind the cabinet, probably some of it can go because you don't even know what's back there, and neither do the children. Now, get ready, because the minute you open one, they're going to tell you 50 reasons why they need to keep the thing that's behind there that they haven't seen in a year. Okay? So just sort of prepare for that. And maybe you can even set that up front as a boundary, you know. We have all these toys and games and things like that on the floor, and the new family expectation is we're not going to have stuff on the floor. It needs to be housed somewhere, contained somewhere. And so therefore, anything that we're going to play with needs to be behind these doors, on these shelves, in these baskets, you know, whatever you may already have. And so we're going to have to make some tough choices here, because we can only keep what can fit in this space. So we can keep that, but what that's out here is going to go. But that's much more of a conquer the clutter. We can do this, you know, in a little bit of time, and not we're going to do the whole house or the whole living room. So when I'm talking about conquering, that's what I'm talking about, not necessarily having a whole plan for the whole house.